Hello, everybody. This is Heidi Stone coming to you from Epiphanies by Moonlight. This is reading number 3, so if you chose this one, welcome. Just like the last deck, I also had a labradorite stone that was placed on top of the deck, and so this stone goes with the reading. If you are unfamiliar with a labradorite, just check out what happens when I kind of put it in the light a little bit. See how it kind of glimmers? There's a kind of an old myth that God got trapped into the labradorite, just a little bit of God. And it's a myth, but essentially labradorite symbolizes being connected with God, having higher visions and intuition. It also represents all the possibilities in life that we face as well. So if you are needing that right now, I just know that I'm sending and praying for that energy to come to you right now and right away. May it be so. Okay, guys, let's get started. All right, so here's what I see. This is a situation. I see two situations with this Two of Swords. Number one, I'm feeling that somebody is getting peer pressured into making a decision. It could be about a decision about a relationship, a job, a house, buying assets. I'm feeling that. I just feel overall someone is being pressured to make a choice. And the big issue with this card is that you see the moon, it's kind of like a half crescent there. That means that these tides are going to be completely engorged by the time this moon is full. That means this individual is going to be forced to make a decision, or the universe is going to be forced to make a decision for her. So you might be in a situation where you feel like your power is limited. You also may feel like you just don't know what decision to make, and maybe this is not kind of a peer pressured kind of situation where other people are waiting on you to make a decision. And if that's the case, if you're just not sure how to proceed in life and you're kind of feeling like you're at a stalemate with what to do, I feel like the real issue here is that you feel more in power in being in indecision than you feel when you make decisions, and that is out of some trauma, some childhood trauma. Could be a different type of trauma, but it's a trauma response to not trusting yourself and feeling more in power when you are not having to be the one making the calls. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so here's what's working for you in this situation. Number one, we've got 2-2. So these are some angel numbers for sure. I've got the Two of Wands here. This is what's working for you in your situation, which is you have a lot of power right now. So if other people are making you feel like you don't have power, or if you feel like you don't have power, that is an absolute farce. This individual has the world in their hands. So what I see there is that you have the power to make any choice that you want, and to move forward in any way that you so choose to. There's only two rules. You can't stay put and you can't go back. You can't stay here forever and you cannot go backwards, but you can go forward in any way you want, and you can take as long as you want to make those steps forward, but you can't just be complacent. So that's what I'm kind of feeling here. But the big thing to remember is that you have power in this situation. Now, I can't show this card completely on YouTube because there's a tiny bit of nudity, but I've got the Sun card. And the Sun card, there's a small child riding a white horse. Let me move my thumb a little bit so you can see the horse. There's a child on the horse. And I'm going to hold this down here because of the nudity, but I'll kind of point things out to you as we go. Okay, so this is what's not working for you. And I think that it's really interesting that it's underneath the Two of Wands, because the Two of Wands can actually, can actually talk about needing to rebuild again after having unfulfilled dreams and having built a life on things that seemed practical rather than the things that you wanted, especially as a child. So what I'm feeling here is that somebody built their life on practicality, and for whatever reason, that's not going to serve you any longer. There's something that's just that for whatever reason, it's just not going to work for you anymore. And with the Sun card, what I'm feeling is that someone here really needs to take a look again at the things that they hoped and wished for when they were quite small. And in doing that, we're going to find a lot more freedom. Now, with the Hierophant here, Hierophant represents all sorts of things. He is a spiritual teacher. He is he's a mentor of sorts. What I see here is there's two keys. So what I feel is that someone, in order to really move forward, what you're kind of getting stuck on is the fact that you probably need to go back and get some higher education. And I feel that if you are considering going and getting a certificate of some kind, or you're just kind of going back and forth about whether or not it's time for you to go and get this higher education, and you're concerned about like, well, I'm going to be this and this such old by the time I graduate and blah, blah, blah. What I'm feeling is, or I guess not even feeling, what I just want to remind you is, if you're concerned that you're 28 and by the time you get out of school, if you chose to go back now, you'll be 32, just remember you'll be 32 with a degree or with that certificate or whatever it is, instead of just being 32 without those things. So I think that's an important thing here to remember. The other thing that seems to be really important is being recommitted to whatever dream that you're making. And or whatever path that you're going to choose, you're going to need to be recommitted to it, and it's going to require a lot of energy out of you, and it's going to be a huge commitment for you. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why it's hard for you to make this choice or make this decision. And I do feel that you may need to get really intuitive about this, but you're going to want to recommit to your inner child is what I'm feeling. This is all about recommitting to your inner child, I see, with the Sun card next to it, and really living your life in your truth, not someone else's truth. Live in your truth. Now, there's a few different ways I can see this playing out for you. With the Five of Swords here, this is kind of an egotistical card of sorts. It can be an egotistical card. It's a card of being, of kind of needing to prove that you're right. And so this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling somebody ignored their dreams in order to prove that they could go and make some sort of living for themselves. I've certainly been that person. And now they're kind of secretly, because these individuals also represent parts of you. I see that you at one point were like, just watch me. I'm going to go and make X, Y, and Z of myself. And this is somebody to me that's totally ignored their dreams. But then down here, maybe later down the road, you kind of turned around and you went, wait a second, I can see that this is going to be the rest of my life and I'm not too excited about it. And now way in the background, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's somebody standing there kind of crying. So I feel like there's with this card, there's going to be this level of acceptance of someone feels like time, like they've lost some time. And I just, I want someone here to feel like, remember that, life is a long journey, and it can also be the longest thing you've ever experienced. Like people like to say that it's short, but it is the longest thing you will ever experience. And so to remember that it's not worth wallowing for the rest of your time on this planet. So that's just kind of for someone out there. There's also, we've got the Temperance card. So someone here, I feel, needs to go and take a little retreat, take some time to kind of clear your mind before making this choice. The other thing here that I'm feeling is that you're going to want to weigh out. You see how he's kind of spilling the cups back and forth? It's called spiritual alchemy, I guess, if you will, with this card. Someone here really needs to be weighing out the options that they have instead of just looking at more than just two. There's multiple ways to kind of get about what it is that you want, and I think that's ultimately what it comes down to is, what do you see yourself committing to, right? Number one, what do you see yourself, what do you want? And it's probably going to be akin to something that you wanted when you were a child. So what do you want? That's number one. That's the first thing here. Number two is you got to remember you've got all the power in your hands to make whatever choice that you want to make. And number three, you got to remember there is more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than two ways to skin a cat. There's hundreds of ways. And you really, with these lilies here, which represent spiritual wisdom, you really have more wisdom than you realize. You have more experience than you realize. Even if the only experience you're coming from is knowing what you don't like, that is still experience, you guys. We've got the Queen of Swords here in the final outcome. And I got to tell you, she is the stone cold face of wisdom. So what I feel here is that she's going to help you guys kind of move forward in your life, but you're going to move forward in a really bold way. You're not going to live your life any longer in this sort of half truth, half lens sort of way. You're going to see things for what they truly are. And I'm hearing you're not here to mess around anymore. So what I see is that she holds the sword of truth, and she's going to start cutting away all the things that no longer serve her. You guys, I feel like whatever you're going through, it's going to lead to a really huge change in your life, and it's going to be a really good one. I feel like this reading is all about kind of getting like your second wind, if you will. But if you are feeling peer pressured to make a choice, and I gotta say, I did steal that line because I shuffled some oracle cards and I pulled one, and peer pressure was the first thing that came across. And when I saw the rest of these cards, I really felt that. If someone here is feeling peer pressured, what I want to tell you, and what I want to really stress to you is that you have power. You've got power in this decision that you're making, okay? You've got power, and there's a lot of ways you can kind of go about this in either a peaceful or in kind of like a warring way. What I do want to say though is that there's more than one way to kind of please everybody in this situation. I'm not sure why you need to please everyone in this situation. It's going to really depend on obviously what's going on for you. But what I'm feeling, if that's the case, is that there is multiple ways to please everybody that is involved. You just need to weigh everything out. Now, we've got the Oracle card, which I've already told you. I did take some of the verbiage from, which is peer pressure. But this is a primrose, the flower, and it reads, "Don't let others coerce you into a decision. You know in your heart what the right choice is." And I feel like you guys are going to really know what you need to do as soon as you actualize that you do have power in this situation. And when you actualize that, you're going to be able to cut away the things that just don't serve you. And I feel like there's a lot of gunk that's preventing you from making a bold choice. And it's because you're afraid of just being in total truth. And I'm here to tell you, you've got all the power in the world to make whatever choice it is that you need to make, and that it will be okay. All right, guys, please reach out to me if you're needing more help with your specific situation or circumstances. I'd be happy to help you. This is about as specific as I can get in a general reading, but I'm here, okay? All right, thanks.